Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'm saying it correctly this time. Yes, it's the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and we're back with Fantasia 2000 on our 101st episode. Yeah, this is actually I had actually not seen this before. I am woefully behind on a number of Disney films. The classic animation stuff, especially. I've seen pretty much all the princess stuff, of course, but the musical ones, for some reason, I did not see this. So, not surprisingly, this was brought out in 2000. It is an update to the classic original Fantasia from, gosh, I don't even remember what year that came out. It's been over 60 years since they did the last one. This includes 7 brand new musical pieces with all new animation. There is also the return of the Sorcerer's Apprentice amongst them. Um, for those who are not familiar with the concept of what this is, it's basically just I know for some of you are going to find this boring, but it's a orchestral concert of classical music, classical pieces, everything from uh, gosh, well, there's a lot of them. Gershwin's in there. There's even some jazz. It takes you on a trip through New York. We have with Rhapsody in Blue, and we have a number of different pieces throughout. I'm just too tired right now. I can't even think of all of them. But the great thing is that now that animation has changed a lot over the last 60 years, there's a really diverse selection of new animated pieces here, different styles. There's one that's based on the artwork, like I just said about the New York uh, one. It's based on the artwork of a gentleman I can't also remember. I really should make notes of these things, but who's done uh, caricatures of different celebrities and Broadway stars over the past much of the 20th century. And there's just basically a slice of life story to the early 20th century New York, and it shows many people's lives, how they interconnect over the course of a day, set to the classic Gershwin piece. There's also just other pieces that are done digitally, like there's one with, I don't even know what it's called, but it's done with flying whales. There's flying whales. It's probably one of the more breathtaking pieces in this entire series. It's kind of stunning, especially since you realize that, I mean, it's the digital animation has come a long way, and it ages pretty quickly. Even if you look at the original Toy Story from Pixar, you compare that to Toy Story 4, it's night and day quality. But this whale, the whale piece, the flying whale piece, looked astounding even now, 20 years later. So it's it's kind of worth checking out. It's early in the film. Oh, by the way, there's, like I said, there's 8 different pieces. 7 of them are new, and they're all introduced by different people. It's like Perlman, Steve Martin, James Earl Jones, Quincy Jones, even Penn and Teller, and Angela Lansbury, and yeah, and why can't I say her name? Wind Beneath My Wings. But anyway, yeah, yeah, it's a. If you're sick of sharing, if you have little kids right now and you're sick of hearing Baby Shark, introduce them to something like this. It's set them down in front of this on Disney Plus. The animation is impressive enough. It's immersive enough to really draw their attention. There's so many different things. Some of them they're going to love more than others. And the great thing about this is that as they grow older, they're going to have a memory that's going to associate this music with this moment, especially if they're like 2, 3 years old and they grow up and they go and they hear that piece of Rhapsody in Blue. They're going to think of that New York piece or the different pieces throughout. And again, I suck at not remembering all this. I could bring it up on IMDb right now, but it would just take too long, and it would be annoying. So you don't really need to know what the pieces are. You either probably already recognize such pieces, or even if they're brand new to you, they're incredibly impressive historic pieces. I mean, there's a lot that didn't even make the cut. Bette Midler, that's the one. Bette Midler even had a segment in this that talked about all the different pieces that they've looked at over the years, and to include in this, and even include in the original, that didn't make the cut. There's some that were, major pieces. They were even going to do something with Wagner's Ride of the Valkyries, but it didn't make the cut, and it's a huge piece. That's pretty amazing. And it's also, the music is also specially performed with an orchestra. I think Chicago Symphony Orchestra at least does most of it. If not all of it, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they do all the pieces. But performed just for this film. It's not just canned orchestra kind of stuff. It's performed specifically for this film. So it's kind of really... It's beautiful. It's moving. It's fun. There's even a Donald Duck piece in here. He's my favorite classic of the Fab Five original Disney characters. But a story about Donald and Daisy, sort of doing the Noah's Ark kind of thing. So there's not just epic, moving, emotional pieces. There's also, that one's also, the Donald Duck one's kind of still emotional, but there's also, it's funny. It's there's lots of fun to be had, especially the one that involves what happens when you give a yo-yo to a bunch of flamingos. So, yeah, there's lots of fun little pieces throughout here for young and old alike. So, give it a shot. If you've seen the original Fantasia, it's time you checked out the second one, their sequel. They talked about doing more of these, but apparently, unless they did it for television or something, which I don't think they did, I think they would call it Fantasia as well. Maybe someday Disney Plus will do a regular piece on this. They'll do maybe 3 or 4 in an episode and bring one out every week like they do with all the other series they have. That'd be pretty kind of cool. Tell them about it. Tell them you want to see more Fantasia pieces on Disney Plus. Like your voice heard. All right, we're going to pick tomorrow's Disney Plus Everyday Challenge episode 636, way up there. Come on. There we are. 636 is a movie. I have a feeling this has to do with Scrooge McDuck. It's the $1 Million Duck. The $1 Million Duck, 636. I'll check that out. It sounds like a Scrooge McDuck kind of thing. I'm not sure if it's a full-length movie. I kind of doubt it is, but it's probably a Disney Channel special kind of thing. So check it out. We'll meet back here tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. See you then. Bye.